You think you know Hardships? Steve Hunter was born on March 12th, '89. It was a cold, rainy, wet day. Although Steven didn't know it at the time, he had many more days like this to come in his lifetime. Day in and day out, Steve had to put up with the same bullshit. He never got a break, never had his moment in the sun. The story of his life is not for the faint-hearted. Steve Hunter was born to a loving mother and a deadbeat father. The three of them shared a house that was too small, but there was nothing that could be done about it. This was where Steve spent the majority of his early life. But his mother did what she had to do to keep him safe and healthy. She loved him. She was about the only one who did. Life went on. Steve grew up and passed through life, hardly noticed, and when he was noticed, it was in a negative way. I don't know which is worse. He was bullied in school, beat up, and other such hardships a young boy might experience.
Hey, bitch.
Come on, Randall, I'm studying.
Studying? Look at this. You got a 50 on this, you idiot.
Randall.
You are such a loser.
Although Steve was not a good student, he made it to high school. He studied hard and got his work in on time, but he just didn't have the brain for school. He couldn't get anything right, even with his unsympathetic teachers who would join in trying to make Steve look like a fool.
Yes, Steve.
Is the test gonna be out of 100 points?
You serious? It's the dumbest question I've ever heard. I just answered it.
But as bad as school was for Steve, the hardships he fell face to face with in his own home were far worse. Steve's alcoholic father would go to the bar every night after work, and then would come home in a drunken rage and abuse Steve and his mother.
What the hell is this?
Dad,
I thought I told you to turn out the trash this morning. What? It's
Jimmy.
now we have to wait another freaking week for the people to come. You know what? Don't tell me how to raise my son, all right? You're just good for nothing. What is this shit you're doing right now?
Jimmy,
What?
it's
No,
okay.
there's nothing more important.
Jimmy.
I'm out. Don't talk to me anymore. I'm out at work all freaking day, busting my ass, and you're just sitting on your ass doing nothing.
Jimmy, he's
You know what?
doing his work.
I'm sick of this shit, all right? You gotta learn a lesson, boy, all right?
No.
You gotta learn right now
No.
what it's really about, all right?
stop.
I swear,
Jimmy,
stay out of this woman,
Stop.
all right? You good-for-nothing piece of shit, insolent, lazy little bitch! Oh, wait.
Steve took beatings like this on a regular basis, but he stayed optimistic. With high school almost over, he'd soon be on his way to college. He'd soon be out of this hellhole. Even after the constant barrage of hardships, Steve made it. He got into a college. It was a small community college, about a 20-minute drive from home, but Steve was more than happy to get away. He was ready to start over and leave his hardships behind.
Dude, you're still here? Dude, I got girls coming up. Don't you have any friends? Don't you have someplace you could go?
well, where else would I be? I don't have class, and the library's closed.
Don't you have any friends?
Well, no, not really.
Go find some, you fucking loser.
Steve soon learned that college was not the fresh start he wanted. The kids were just as mean, and the classes were twice as hard. So his days in college dragged on, much as that had before in high school. No silver lining, no light at the end of the tunnel. Steve pushed on. He would at least try to make it to Thanksgiving break, and he could go home and see his mother, and all would be well. But more hardships lay ahead for Steve. He arrived home to see the worst sight of his life.
Hey, Mom, I'm back from school. Mom? Mom? Mom! Mom! Mom!
His mother, dead. Beaten. Steve's father was nowhere to be found. For all Steve knew, Jimmy had done it. This was the worst hardship Steve had ever faced. He blamed himself. If he had been home, he would have taken the beating and not his mother. The only person to ever love him was dead. Steve was truly alone. Alone in a world of hardship. Steve had to get away. Leave his terrible life of hardships behind. He went to a small port town and found a local fisherman.
I want a job.
So you want to be a fisherman?
Yeah, I want to go out and see the world. There's nothing left for me here.
Well, you understand that, part of being a fisherman, there's a lot of sacrifice. You're going to be out on the ocean for 5 to 6 months. You know, it's a lot of hard work. You know, the weather's crazy sometimes. You think you're ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right, then. Well, I'm just going to have you sign some paperwork, and you'll be on your way.
All right.
All right?
Thank you.
No problem. All right.
Life on a boat was hard, but Steve didn't care because he was finally part of a crew. He finally belonged. And then the storm hit. The rain drove down on the tiny vessel like nails. Waves crashed against the side of the boat. One hit and sent Steve flying 20 feet through the air, and he came crashing back down into the deck. But it was okay, because Steve was used to falling into hardships.